approaching almost the end of our course, also the end of the semester. So which means we are kind of ready for your final papers and our presentation. And one more thing, your final paper, the draft, will due at the end of this week. But I mean, you still have some time to prepare it and get everything done this week. And for in the previous classes, we have already talked about how to write introduction, body paragraph, and also conclusion. So I think you have already like draft each part and also combine these parts together. So that means right now you should have a draft of your final paper, hopefully. Okay. But I mean, when you're drafting some things, you may have some concerns about like how should I include in the body paragraph, or how should I form my final paper into a more formal, academic, or maybe acceptable for your last submission. So I want to say no worries. So today we will do a little bit about revision. So, especially like revision globally, so we call it global revision. All right. So also for the agenda for today, after our class, you will be able to first understand what is global revision is. Second, clarify the structure of the literature review, which means our final paper. And also revise the final paper based on 4 aspects of the global revision by peer review sessions. Alright. So there are 2 types of revisions, which are global revision and local revision. So do you guys know what this revision is? What revision is?
Make some correction.
Yeah, so I just want to say for some computer science major or EC majors, like debugging your coding is kind of like the same when you are revising a paper. So it's like the same like process. And for the computer science major, do you guys know like global variables versus local variables? Okay, so what is that?
That's different variables asking.
So what is the characteristics of each one? What is global variables?
The actual field application.
Mm-hmm.
Global variables can use the arrow of the program.
Yeah, like the whole
Yeah.
program. And what about local variables?
Local variables can only use where they are.
Like a certain sessions or something, but I'm not familiar about that field. But it is like the same meanings of global and local revision here. So can anyone guess what is global revision?
Make some revision from the whole passage.
Whole passage?
Whole paper.
Yeah, like the whole picture of the paper.
Yeah.
And what about local?
From some paragraphs.
Well, even more tiny, like sentences level things. Yes. So global revisions involve the bigger picture of your essay, and it can, relate to ideas, purpose, your audience, evidence, analysis, and the organization. So it's kind of like, you can see it's kind of like the whole picture thing. And for the local one, it's just more focusing on sentence level revisions. And for example, you may changing some words to make the sentence more clear, or you have some grammatical errors or spelling errors. But I just want to say today's class, we only focused on global revisions, because local revisions you can definitely correct by yourself, or just go to writing center and tutor will help you about like grammatical errors or spelling things. Okay. So As we noticed that when you are doing a global revisions, we are more focusing on big picture things. That is somewhere we have to found, for example, in body paragraph, sections, subsections, and like the whole picture thing. And here is the emphasis on these issues are focusing on, and also as well as the 4 aspects of global revisions, we are more focusing on these 4 aspects. One is focus, purpose of the audience, organization and paragraphing, and content. That is also we will going to focus on today's. Hopefully you will have your draft. Okay, so and also, you know, when you are doing the peer review sessions, your peer is always the great resource because you guys have the same guideline, take the same class, you guys will notice like different kinds of like requirements. So today we'll do a peer review sessions. So I will group you guys into 3 groups, and we will be focusing on these 4 aspects in order to revise your paper. Okay, so I think each one will have an index card, like different colors, right? I try my best to group you guys with the person that you don't have a chance to work with this semester. So just get in your groups with the same color. I think you have to, same color, but you have to go with that because we have 13 students. Move into your group. I will assign you guys like green can move here, and red and yellow.
Purple.
Yeah, purple will go with the red.
Oh, okay.
So green here, red here, and orange, like yellow there. So you will have 4 students with a number and 1 with 5. So after you form into your groups, I will give you guys about 5 minutes to give each one a chance to talk about your paper. So basically, it talks about what is your paper about. Okay. Okay, guys, time's up. So we will know each other's paper more when we are going to pre-review sessions. So today we are only focusing on 4 aspects because these parts are tricky. Sometimes may require you to rewrite, like reorder things. And the first one is focus. So focus is kind of like it is reflected in the thesis statement. And the first, we will going to look at your peers' thesis statement, especially. So first is some like requirements of the thesis statement. First is your thesis statement should be specific, which means, as we talked about in our previous class, the thesis statement cannot be so big, cannot be so broad. It should be more specific. And also, it can be supported by like specific evidence that you also have to talk about. For example, the IoT is beneficial because blah, blah, and blah. So you have to make evidence support of your thesis statement. And also the thesis statement, the location of the thesis statement is where the thesis statement? At the end of the paper. Yes, especially the last sentence of the introduction. And also you have to have a very close relationship between thesis and headings, which means that the headings should be connected with the thesis statement and also contribute to the thesis statement as well. And also the goal of the final paper is to convince your audience that the claims is true based on your evidence. So just keep these ideas in your mind, is that the goal of writing this paper is to persuade your audience, to let others to trust you, to think what you say, what you prove is correct based on the evidence. But you have to make it very clear about thesis statement, because thesis statement give you an overview of the whole paper. Okay. And can anyone, this is a quote that I copy and paste from the Blackboard. Can any volunteer to read it for me? Or I will cue you. So, Red 3, can you read it?
Read what?
Read the quote.
A well-positioned and a recognizable thesis statement follows logically from the introduction, contains appropriate keywords, and makes a strong conceptual claim, which is argumentative and not too obvious about the issue or ideas in the paper connect back to the thesis.
Okay. So they have a very, very important points here. So first is you have to contain appropriate keywords. Because the whole papers talk about certain things, it is keywords, so you definitely will include it in your thesis statement. And also, you have a claim that is argumentative, which means you will have an argument instead of stating the facts. So, for example, if you are saying like, oh, IoT is beneficial, some of the people will disagree with you, because nothing is perfect. They do have a drawback. And also the ideas, all the ideas in the paper should be connected back to the thesis, which means your headings, your subheadings should be connected to the thesis statement. Okay, and I give you guys about 5 statements, which is like a good thesis statement should be. They have different requirements. And I will assign you guys. So for this part, A and 4 will be partners. 2 and 3 will be partners. Okay. So in your group, you have a number, right? So 1 and 4 get together. 2 and 3 get together. Okay. But for your group, it's just like going like circle. You give to him. You give to him. Okay. And try to find the thesis statement in your peers' work and to evaluate your peers' thesis statement on these statements. If you think you agree that the thesis statement is clear, make a check here and tell me why. And if you think your peers don't have it or still have to work on it, you have to write about comments. Okay, I will give you guys about 10 to 15 minutes working on thesis, because it's the most important thing. Okay? 1 and 4 get together, 2 and 3 get together. for the misunderstandings. So first, you have to write your name here, and you have to give this checklist to your peers, and your peers will write down the name for a reviewer. But the whole paper is for you. Yeah, so you have to write your name, and if you want to exchange your, yeah, and you have to write, because you are the reviewer of her, so you have to write down her name. Yes. Okay, so for this part, can anyone share a little bit about your experience? Like, what is the common problems that you noticed? Or what is the common problem that you and your peers have the same? Like, from this part, what are some problems that you think is very common or you and your peers have the same?
We just discussed about where we have to work together, the organization, what's the organization?
Yeah.
Before or after.
So basically the structure is first you have the scenario or examples to interest your audience, and then you have a background or content, and then you talk about purpose and organization, and the last sentence is the thesis statement. And also one more thing that I noticed you guys have concern is the fourth. So you cannot, I know for the previous class you separate the thesis statement and the body paragraph or something, but this part you have to do not copy and paste your thesis statement at the end of the introduction. Instead, you have to make it more naturally, because this is part of your introduction, which means you have to think about transitions to connect your purpose or organization or the background information to the thesis. Okay. And we will, because of time, we have to go to the next part, which is purpose and the audience. So when you are drafting your papers, another thing you have to keep in your mind is who is your audience. Okay, for this paper, your audience is not only the members in your field, but also the society in general. Which means you are the computer science majors, I'm not. I major in education and also the same as professor. Which means we also are the audience of your papers and also your parents. Right? To think about this way in your papers. So your paper is not only to the people that in your field, but also the peoples in society in general. Okay? And also, your paper should probably make an argument about social, political, economic significance of your subject. Why? Because your audience are people in society in general. If you do not mention about social, political, or economic significance, why I have to care about your paper? Okay? So just think about this way. I'm not your audience. I have to read your papers because your paper talk about something that is related to my life, to the people in society in general. So for this part, try to revise your papers as an outsider of your field. try to think about, oh, I'm not a like computer science major. Should my audience interested in my paper? Okay, if not, try to change something. And also the tones are appropriate and respectful. Means some of the students I see 2 students in their paper, they talked about I am going to talk about. It is not the right tone, guys. For academic papers, you have to say something like in the third person, like the paper, blah blah blah. It's not saying like I am going to talk about. Okay. If you notice that your paper have I, we, or something, just delete it. Okay. And also to avoid highly technical language, which is also related to the audience, it's like overlapping things. So if your audience are normal people, like people in the society in general, try to avoid highly technical language because cannot understand what is like debug or like very like terminology you cannot really understand. But if you really want to talk about a certain things, for example, you guys notice about what is your keywords, like BCI or something? Yeah, BCI. So that is your entire purpose talk about. So definitely you will use it as a technical language. However, if you must use it, you have to define and explain in a very simple language in order to let audience, to the society in general, to better understand it. Okay. Yeah, just define it, make a definition, or explain the terms and the concepts as the introduction part for the content or the background information. So let's look at the checklist. So for this part, for the purpose of the audience, I will, it is better to look at the introduction part of your peers and also to check if your peers achieve this statement. And also for this part, number 1 is going to work with number 2, and number 3 is going to work with number 4. And you guys are also like another round. The reason why I do is because you will read more papers. Maximize your learning opportunity. Okay? So 1 and 2, 3 and 4.
In the same term.
Yeah, you or change it, another term. And don't forget to write your name as a reviewer. So guys, we don't have enough time about this part. However, I will go over the last organization and paragraphing and content for you guys because you have to know what is it. So for the organization and paragraphing, here is the whole structures. I just want you guys to notice that here is the whole structures of your paper. So first, you have to have a title page by following AP citation. Professor and I will also mention about APA formattings and citations on Thursday, so no worries about that. And also you have to have a title, okay? It's basically a topic. And also the introduction. As I said before, the introduction should be followed with the like scenarios or hook, and then background information, purpose and the organizations, and thesis statement. Here is the introduction. You have to write about 200 and 250 words. And then it's the later review part. It's basically your body paragraphs. Okay? And each paragraph will integrate sources as well. And also your headings should connect with your thesis statement. also very important thing, for the body paragraph, you should have your very effective topic sentences. Okay? And then the conclusion. What does conclusion do? It's basically briefly summarize your main findings and restate your thesis statement. Guys, this is really important. You have to restate your thesis statement. What does restate means? Mention it again. With different structures, but the same idea. And state why your paper is very important for a field of studies and also for the society in general. Yeah, it's basically summarizing and then restate the thesis. Just one more thing to keep in mind is you do not write new things for the conclusion. So this part is just summarizing and restate your thesis statement. You do not talk about new things, okay? And for the references, whether you are using APA or IEEE, okay? And try to balance the length of paragraphs, because the paragraph you have to write about 1,400 words, but try to balance each paragraph. Do not be too long on each paragraph, do not be too short. And for the content, I just want to say, like, your supporting materials should be relevant to your headings. And also, it's kind of like a hamburger, like a hamburger structures. So first you have your topic sentence. And then for the meat, you have to use sources. It's not only you have to like cite these sources, but you also have to analyze it. And then you have a little conclusion. So this is kind of like your doing your body paragraph to just follow these structures. So you cannot just cite the sources and copy and paste on that. You cannot do that. So you have to analyze it and then try to contribute to your thesis. Like try to contribute to your headings or your topic sentence. Clear? Okay. And try to use a single language, like reporting words. And also the phrase bank will help you to do that. Alright, so it's like, for the body paragraph, it's just like they say and I say. So this is like examples. So you're citing sources here, and you have to, I say is like you have to summarize it, analyze it, in order to fit in your thesis statement as well. Okay, and because it's a limited time, so I will leave you guys on organization and paragraphing and the content, but I have already read it for you. So I will suggest you guys to find a partner after class to revise each other's papers based on this statement. I think it's really help you for the final submission. And for the citations and references, I will go over on Thursday. So just don't forget to bring this checklist on Thursday. Or you guys can give it to me and then it's your choice. So you have to promise that you will bring it on Thursday. Okay? Okay, thank you. That's it. And I will leave you guys about 5 minutes for questions for the professor. Yeah, do you guys have any questions?